Rimuru tries to assure Miles by saying, haha, it's already been resolved. Hinata and I made amends peacefully, and I also worked things out with Lu. Rimuru stopped as he realized he was about to say the name of Luminous and Miles replied, who is Lu? And Rimuru immediately thinks of another word, loose ends. We managed to set a few ground rules and tie up any loose ends, that's all. So everyone has made peace with each other. And Miles immediately got what Rimuru said. Miles explained that he thought the organization of Western Saints Church would have been a bit scarier. He says that maybe he was worrying too much because he didn't expect them to be so understanding. Rimuru gave off a forced smile while wiping his sweat and thinking, that was too close, too close. He almost spelt out Luminous' name, and if he had done that, he would have come to be resented by Luminous as well. The founding festival would not only be welcoming Hinata and the Holy Knights, but even Luminous, so he had to be careful with his words, because even Miles would be silenced because of it. But whether that arrogant demon Lord Luminous would attend or not was still unknown. Rimuru thinks of Luminous' words when the festival was mentioned, why should I attend such a tasteless festival? Rimuru expected Luminous to say that, and if she were really coming, reception would probably also take a lot of hard work. So would it be better if she just didn't come? Rimuru came back to reality when he heard Miles talked, in that case, let me show you the results of our training so far. Rimuru asked if the training has been going smoothly and Miles confirmed, of course. Now they are trained to the point where they can do anything with some level of professionalism. And Rimuru was delighted by his response, you sure are capable, Miles-kun. Both of them locked eyes and shared a chuckle in secret. It sounded like making their grand opening at the fest wouldn't be an issue. They both continued to discuss about the menu and the employees. Rimuru asked if they should be selling hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries and all types of juice and Miles agreed. One of their specialties would be the barbecue kebab and its secret sauce since it has been getting good reviews. To be partnered with rice balls, the sales would definitely increase. Since the menu is settled, Rimuru then asked about if there are enough people. Miles estimated it to have a scale of around 20 people. Although it will cost a lot of money, it is reasonable considering that they will need employees to rotate, so a training fee would be a necessary expense. Given that to be the case, they should have plenty to spare in order to open stores in 5 different locations. Then Rimuru asked, if that's the case, I'm embarrassed to ask, but could you help prepare 5 people with the best culinary skill? And Miles was curious, 5? What did you want from them? And Rimuru replies, well, I've got this friend of mine. His name's Veldora. And Miles gave off a surprised expression, Veldora? And Rimuru explained, yeah, about that guy. He's been very enthusiastic about opening a teppanyaki shop. Rimuru notices Miles' face contort during his explanation. Miles hesitantly replies, I see. Rimuru carried on with the explanation, so you know, wouldn't it be too dangerous to have him handle the shop all on his own? Miles' response, I would say so, yes. And Rimuru beamed at him, so that's why I hope you can send 5 of your best chefs to assist Veldora. Rimuru said with a big smile plastered across his face. Miles, watching Rimuru dump all the responsibility to him, tilted his head upward and called out to Veldora the Lord above. Miles asked Rimuru, would you be able to guarantee the, safety of these staff? And Rimuru gladly assures, of course. Just talk to me if anything happens. I'll definitely give that guy a good scolding if he tries to act stubbornly again. And Miles said, I trust you will, yes, but is the Veldora you mentioned that storm dragon-sama? Rimuru thinks that even Miles had heard of the name Veldora, and so he asked, is there something wrong? And Miles answered, I guess. Wrong may not be the correct term, I'm just picturing how everyone would be unable to work given that they would have already been scared to death by the time. And Rimuru thinks that he should have realized it sooner. That's indeed true, to the uninformed, they may actually be afraid of Veldora. He's a catastrophe-level threat after all. So Rimuru asks, well, maybe that's not a good idea, huh? And Miles says, no, perhaps not. At least use an alias, so everyone can help without knowing. And Rimuru interrupts, yes. Brilliant, Miles-kun. Let's give him an alias to prevent anyone from finding out his real identity. Miles was hesitant at first. If Rimuru can do it and Rimuru assures, piece of cake, I'll just tell him do it or no deal. Right, let's do that. And I'll pay a special bonus to the 5 people you pick for me, so let them know I'm counting on them, okay? And with that, Rimuru was greatly pleased with how the issue was resolved. And he didn't give a second thought about Miles' shock. Rimuru thinks that Veldora's stubborn tantrums were nothing new, but they were about to entertain important figures from various nations attending the festival this time. It would be embarrassing if any of them got food poisoning during the event, so Rimuru couldn't rest easy until he knew that there were people watching over and directing Veldora. On the one hand, it would be too pitiful to reject him without reason, but on the other hand it would be terribly nerve-wracking to let him handle everything by himself. All things considered, Rimuru thinks was quite lucky that the people found by Miles had already been trained. Miles looked like he had wanted to say something, but Rimuru doubted it was something important. That's why Rimuru should just let him handle all of these things whenever they come his way. Little did he know that Miles felt as though a giant bomb has been forced onto him. And on the other side, Rimuru appeared to be in a very good mood after resolving the issue. Miles can't believe that he got to meet Veldora one day. He was getting a major headache at the moment. Perhaps he should just let it slide as he witnessed Rimuru laughing in front of him with a relieved attitude. After all, he'd been striving to live a life free of regret ever since he was rescued by Rimuru. Rimuru hoped that the founding festival would convince some guests to return in the future for more consumption. For this to be a success, he had come up with a multitude of programs in hopes that the guests wouldn't get bored. Miles was impressed as to just how far into the future his Rimuru planned. So he suggested, well, why not using Gracia as an example to imitate? The theater in their capital seems to be quite popular. I've even heard that they put on an opera and a drama every day. In addition, you also see fighting tournaments held live at the area. And Rimuru asked, ooh. Oh, yes. Is that the one? I heard that there is a Masayuki, the chosen hero, who is very popular. And Miles agreed, he certainly is. Masayuki-sama has the title Shining and has dominated many martial tournaments. I'm actually rather a fan of his. Rimuru was surprised, and Miles began an in-depth explanation of the tournament system to Rimuru. After a long hour of explanation, Miles continued his explanation, so that's how it was, since nobody could grasp the pattern of his sword swings, it's what earned him the title Shining. Occasionally, they hold the death battles with captured monsters, but the hero's fighting companions are pretty strong themselves. If there is some recreational program like that. I'm way too passionate about it. Speaking of which, Master Rimuru's subordinates also all seem like powerful individuals. I wonder which one is the strong. Rimuru did not let Miles finish and interrupted, whoa, stop right there. I won't allow you to continue anymore, Miles-kun. It was obvious Miles' interest would shift over to Benimaru and the rest of Rimuru's officers sooner or later. That included Rigard, who he had met several times. His body of muscle didn't seem to be just for show. Between them and all the other powerful Majin he saw around town, he couldn't help but wonder who was champion among them all. Miles took the chance to ask Rimuru but was stopped. Rimuru whispered to Miles about his reason. He said that if his subordinates get to hear these, it will cause armed conflicts. In the past, there's this holy knight Arno, and had asked the same question. It led to Rimuru's lieutenant's argument over rankings and boring topics which almost led to serious conflicts. Rimuru was lucky enough that only part of his staff was there, so they managed to settle the matter peacefully. So he warned Miles to not say such things that will provoke conflicts. He replied, I see. Apologies for my offense. Rimuru said it's fine as long as Miles would keep an eye out of it. So Miles continued, there's another empty block in the town, it should be pretty nice to prepare an opera house there. Maybe that would encourage people to become playwrights, that would lead to some new forms of entertainment. Now regarding a Colosseum. He stopped midway because Rimuru seemed to be grinning. He thought, great, he's got some devious idea again. He thinks that Rimuru has absolute beauty, as long as he keep his mouth shut. Miles' heart tensed up when he heard Rimuru call him Miles-kun. You seem to be intimately familiar with the whole martial tournament thing? He suddenly said, how about we hold one, then? Can you arrange that for me? And Miles was surprised, wait a minute, young master. It's far too late to suddenly tell me about such an important thing. And Rimuru justifies, we can build the Colosseum for you, could you help me investigate what is required to host a tournament? Given it had already reached this point, there was no use in resisting. He finally said, there's just no beating you, is there, Master Rimuru? I understand. Yours truly, Miles, will sincerely attend to the matter with all my effort. Miles promised rather helplessly. He showed a bit of a smile now. Honestly, Miles didn't hate this. In fact, being assigned such a vital mission was like a music to his ears. What do you need in order to host it? Not only will he need to investigate, Miles also needed to put his ideas into practice. Never in his life did he dream to be tasked or even work on such a large-scale proposal. It doesn't matter even if it fails, Miles pulled himself together.